So I wanted to do a review of a film. I've done Ordinary People, number one on my list, and number two, The Hours, and I did part of Persona, Ingmar Bergman's, but I stopped, and I was thinking about why I stopped, and part of it is because I haven't been able to watch it, but also because Persona is one of those films that when you watch it, rewatch it, or watch it for the first time, it really does kind of like play with your head a little bit. So kind of play with mine, so I had to take a break. But I'm very excited to talk about my next one on my list, and and this film, being on my list as it is, really made me look back at the other three and some of the other ones on my list. And I think I've talked before about the common themes that I've seen in the favorite films of mine. Female characters, strong female characters, oftentimes multiple female characters, and it seems the male characters are sort of secondary or even weak in these films. But with the fourth one on my list, which is The Danish Girl by Tom Hooper, what I what I opened myself up to know a little bit deeper about these favorite films is that the real central thing to them is love. And to recap, with Ordinary People, we have a family that's um, incapable of loving, incapable of connecting. That's another theme, I think, disconnect versus connecting. And then with The Hours, we have three women who are struggling in their relationships to love. And even someone like Virginia Woolf, who made the choice to commit suicide, you know, in her suicide note to Leonard, talked about the love that they had, and that she didn't think that two people could be happier than they were. And then with Persona, we have something that's not really a conventional love story, but these two characters sort of have, I think, some kind of undefinable love or indefinable love that causes their personalities to become intertwined. But with the fourth film, The Danish Girl, what we have here is nothing short of just a miraculous and unconventional love story. And it really, in a nutshell, is basically based on a true story and from the diaries of this woman, Lily. And the film is about a man and a woman who are painters in Denmark, and how the man, the husband, uh, comes to the realization that he believes that he is a woman. And so this is a true story, he undergoes the first transgender operation to become a woman. And so he goes from his character Einar to to Lily, uh, the a female, like goes through the operation, has it done, the first one to ever have it done. And Gerda is his wife. And I wanted to talk about the film as far as like not giving too much away about it, because like all great love stories, it's sometimes, they have to end tragically. Romeo and Juliet comes to mind, but there's been many others, and this one sort of falls into that category. And yet, much like The Hours, where people talk about The Hours being very depressing, I find it very liberating. I find the same is true with The Danish Girl, even though it kind of does take us back as far as the ending the way it does. But what I wanted to talk about is, first of all, the director, Tom Hooper. He did a film called The King's Speech, which won Colin Firth an actor award, well deserved. And he also did the film adaptation of the Broadway production of Les Miserables, which I liked. I wasn't a huge fan, but I loved the musical. I saw it twice on stage, and but I just want to say that his directorial style of The Danish Girl is impeccable. He filmed it in Denmark, and his choice of locales and the colors and the way, the vastness he presents. I'm not going to be interrupted again. I've tried to do this review like 6 times already. But this vastness that he creates with the placement of the characters, and just the sets and the design and the costume design, and Lily's transformation makeup wise and all that, it's so extraordinary. And I just think he just does a wonderful job, and I just kudos to him for taking on that project too, which is quite controversial, I think, and but quite relevant, and that's one of the reasons why I love it that it's on my list, and I love talking about it. The other thing is the acting. We have Eddie Redmayne, who won an Oscar for The Theory of Everything, playing Stephen Hawkins, that famous scientist guy, and he won an Oscar for that. Well deserved, by the way. He did not win an Oscar for The Danish Girl. I remember Leonardo DiCaprio won for some film called The Covenant, which I never saw. And Leonardo DiCaprio is a great actor, has been nominated so many times. It was almost like, just give him an award. But that was the same year that Eddie Redmayne was nominated for The Danish Girl for playing such a remarkable performance. I mean, his transformation is nothing short of miraculous to watch on film. It is, and it's all a testament to his acting style. He is so versatile. He's my favorite actor next to Joaquin Phoenix. And I don't have a lot of favorite actors. Now, if you ask me favorite actresses, I can go on like forever. But favorite actors is very limited. And then his wife, played by Gerda. Now, this is where I'm going to get like all up in this video and with some serious praising of this woman. Because the actress who played her, Gerda, was, her name is Alicia Vikander. Her name even sounds angelic. And to me, she is the heart and soul of the film. Because her character has to come to, or has to go through a journey and come to these steps that are just unfathomable. I mean, she is losing her husband, Einar, who she loves, who wants to become a woman. And I think anybody in that situation, most people in that situation would be like, well, you know, hey, you were my husband, Einar, and now you want to become a woman, so I'm just, you know, you don't need me anymore. But she doesn't do that. She supports his decision. And but she's losing her husband, and her acting, I don't know where they found her. I've never seen her in anything before, but she won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. Her performance is one of the best female performances I've ever seen on film. I cannot tell you how great she is. I mean, words could not describe it. But she is the heart and soul of The Danish Girl. She really is. And you know, at first I thought she shouldn't even be in Best Supporting Actress category because she's a lead. But it almost rings true that she would be in the supporting category because she supports her husband and this new Lily woman. And I tell you, she did her job. Not her job. Her choices and her emotional landscape of this film is so, it's just like right up there with like Jessica Lange as far as what the emotional landscapes that she brings her characters. I mean, Alicia Vikander. And when she won the Oscar, she thanked Eddie Redmayne specifically for raising her game, and maybe he did raise her game, but if he did, I give him a shout out because he raised her game to a level that, I mean, I've never seen acting quite that magical. And the other thing I wanted to comment on is that this being an unconventional love story, you know, we're living in a time now where transgendered people are becoming a reality. And they're undergoing these operations to become who they believe they are to be. Now, it's so easy for us, and I say us, me, maybe, but us as a society, to take that judgment position of like, well, God made you a man, so why are you becoming a woman? That's a sin, or that's against nature, and you know, or whatever judgment we decide to take. And I think that this film is so important to watch because, you know, it's such a courageous story, and courage is a perfect word for this story. Not only for the character of Einar becoming Lily, but also for Gerda. They display such courage in what they're facing, and it's so palpable to watch because the acting is so good, so good. And I just think like, I think we as a society get into a really dangerous place when we think we have the right to tell somebody what they can do with their body. And you know, I believe God made us the way he made us from dust, and I wrote actually a sonnet about that. And, you know, we're made from dust, and I believe with all my heart and heart, and it says it in the Bible, that we are judged by our hearts. I mean, Jesus was out there calling the Pharisees out left and right because they were all about rules and they were all about laws and what they wore and all this external stuff, but their hearts were dark. So Jesus judges by hearts. He doesn't judge by the actions that we take. I mean, sure, we're all sinners, so we're gonna sin. But is it a sin for a man to make a decision to become a woman when he believes that he really deep down inside he's a woman? And we're going to take a position and say like, well, no, you can't do that, and that, you know, that's a sin, and you're ostracized from society. Not to mention that Jesus, who did Jesus hang around with? He didn't hang around with the people that had it all together. He hung around with the people that were lowly, the ostracized, the ones that didn't fit in. I mean, so we get into a dangerous place when we think we have the right to express our opinion, which we have a right to do, by the way, but we get really dangerous when we start wanting to say like, well, no, transgender people aren't allowed to go into the bathroom, this bathroom or that bathroom, and they're not allowed to have this operation or that operation. I mean, we get into a really dangerous territory, I think. And hey, Mr. B. And I just wanted to end on that note because I think that this is really a film that those are my flowers. I mean, they're not mine, but they are mine but I borrowed the vase.
Cool. No, that's fine.
Yeah, so that's my boss, by the way. He just walked by. But anyway, so that film really is something that I really loved reviewing, and I really highly recommend it. I cannot talk enough about the directing and the acting and how of a wonderful love story it is, because it is not your traditional love story, you know, all hokey and corny and all that. It's very unconventional, and yet these characters display such amazing courage, and it's brought to life with such beautiful actors, Alicia Vikander and Eddie Redmayne, and it is a real gem of a masterpiece, and really a fabulous film. Great filmmaking, great acting, and just a great job, Tom Hooper, and all the actors involved. Thank you.